Yes, people, what's going on? Good morning. Welcome to the Transfer View here on United View. Welcome back to the channel. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know. Let Owen know. Let us know. Let the rest of the community know how you're doing this morning, man. Are you on your way to work? Are you on your way to the gym? Are you on a school run? Have you got the day off? Are you kicking back on holiday, just chilling, waiting for the latest news regarding the manager and transfers and all of that stuff? Where are you? What are you up to? And what's the weather saying? What's the weather saying where you are? Straight off the bat, you lot know what it is now. Yeah. For the regulars who are here every single morning, it's part of it. But for the people who aren't, here's the house rules. Like the video as soon as you get in. Yeah. We are 83 likes already straight away. And we've been live for like 1 minute, which is great. The view count obviously is going up, but share the video. Let people know that we're live. Let people know that United View is on. Put it in your group chat. Tell your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend, all of that jazz. Joe Blackman says it's cold in southeast London. Javis says, good morning, UV fam. Byron Davis says, I'm enjoying listening to the crazy fans losing their minds. I'm like Marcel, calm. And Cloudy and Hyde says Tabras. And let's go up a little bit more. Kevin Gary Settings says sad sack. Probably because it was a little bit late. I ain't hitting the like button until you start being on time, bruv, says Aminor. I don't know. I mean, it takes a while to look this good. You know what I'm saying? For me and Owen to get on here and look this, our skin to look this smooth, our face to look this
Speak for
bright.
yourself, Flex.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I'll speak for you as well.
This is clearly every morning a 5-minute job. Yeah, a 5-minute job. Water on the face. Water on the face. That'll do.
Oh my God.
That'll do. That's fine. No problem.
Complete opposite. Yeah. But anyway, Tabres, like I was saying, it takes ages for us to look this good and set this up for you. You know what I mean? So a couple more minutes. You know what I mean? Aminor comes straight in. Oh, sorry, it was Aminor who said that, not Tabres. Aminor says, Owen, if we Ineos want De Zerbi, why not Potter then? If Ineos want De Zerbi, why not get Potter? Quick question to you straight off the bat.
I was still trying to make sense of it. They're not getting Graham Potter. It's not getting Graham
Not
Potter.
getting Southgate, not Graham Potter.
No. I mean, we'll talk about it as the show goes on, but I think it is quite funny to even see like big name journalists now even sort of throwing their hands up and going, I don't know. They'll get asked about the Man United. What's going on in the Man United situation? I don't really know anymore.
Who knows?
So
who knows? And to be fair, that is where we're at today in terms of the news, in terms of the reports. We're going to be talking about what happens next. We're going to be talking about the fact that it's completely guesswork with Eric Ten Hag's situation right now. The media are just speculating every single minute of the day. And you know, when you're sort of going through articles, you're going through what the latest topics are and latest news are. Me and Owen went, do you know what we're going to do today? What we're going to talk about? It's quite refreshing. We're going to actually just do our opinion piece and just be like, mate, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Like David Ornstein was on Sky last night saying,
I've got the quotes.
I ain't got a clue. So we're going to get into it all because really today's show is more about, let's talk about this thing. Nobody has a flipping clue what's happening.
No, nobody has a clue. And like you said, David Ornstein was on Sky Sports News last night. He was doing, what's the show called? Is it Paper Talk?
Paper Talk.
Back
pages.
Yeah, and he was asked, you know, what's going to happen with Eric Ten Hag, and he said, "quote I've given up predicting what will happen in this situation because I'm not sure Manchester United are certain themselves, let alone us. Clearly, they've been conducting due diligence and holding conversations with a variety of options. They've all been pretty well documented. Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, and others. It sort of came up publicly in the week leading up to the Cup final and beyond, in case they're making this change." That's the big question still, in case it all feels a little uncomfortable with Eric Ten Hag still in position. But really, for everybody's sake now, you feel it needs to come to a head one way or the other and some clarity brought to the equation. So that's David Ornstein right there. Now, obviously, he might know or have heard some things, maybe some scuttlebutt, if you will, some rumors, but not enough that he's confident to go on national television and say it. And particularly, you know, if he's got that kind of exclusive, he'll break it on The Athletic. That's his bread and butter. But if it's pretty big for someone like him to go on national TV and just be like, look, I don't know. Like, I've given up trying to sort of guess which way it's going to go, because just when you think it is going to go in a certain direction, Eric Ten Hag's definitely going to be leaving, like before the FA Cup final, then the opposite happens. Or, well, I think it's going to be, if it was going to be anyone, it'd be Thomas Tuchel. Talks take place about 30 minutes later. Yeah, by the way, you know, Thomas Tuchel, that's not happening. Oh, it might be Pochettino then. looks unlikely. Charlotte Duncan from the Times said that last night as well. And then it gets toward the point where you go, well, nobody knows. And then I suppose the key question to that, Flex, when it's nobody knows, you go, well, why does nobody know? Is it because information is very, tight and it's being kept very close to the chest on this one? Or is it because, as David Ornstein is kind of saying, is it because Manchester United themselves, they don't know what they're going to do at the moment, and they're kind of just stuck going, oh, what do we do at this point? Is that the real reason why?
Yeah, I think they don't know. And also, I've been thinking about it in their eyes, which obviously most of us don't agree with, because we want to know what's going on, and it feels very slapdash and scattered. I don't know, scattered. It feels very scattered with what's going on. Whatever. It's all scattered around of what's going on. Scattergun approach. That's what I'm talking. That's the word I'm looking for.
For a second, you dipped into maths graphs.
Maths, yeah. Positive correlation on the scatter graph. Negative correlation on the scatter graph. Put the X's in. Goes up the curve.
You saw a scatter graph and then sort of shrugged. But scatter graph.
Yeah. Then you draw the line through it, and if it doesn't go through most of them, you go no correlation. Do you remember that GCSE maths?
Yeah, I remember him. I used to do it in psychology, degree level. Correlations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
oh, it's the worst.
100%. Flex, what did you get in GCSE maths? Says Tabrez. I got an E the first time because I was not good at maths. I used to hate maths. I was the guy who would, because I knew I wasn't quite good at it. My personality in the class would hide that, like being funny and just like to mask that, like I'm not very good at this. But then I had to retake it in college. And my parents were just like, listen, you gotta do this. You gotta knock in. You can. And I did, to be fair. And then I got a C the very next year. That's like one of the proudest things I've done, actually.
That's good. I also got a GCSE. I got a C in maths. And it was, to be honest, it was quite a big failure on my part because I was in the second set for most of the time throughout secondary school. And then I had a really good teacher. And so she was really, really good. So my results went up. So I went into the top set, but it was way over my head. Like they were like geniuses in the top set.
It's a different level, isn't it?
Geniuses. And I sat next to a friend of mine, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do a lot of work that year. And when it came time to do the exam, it was not best prepared. I'm just not very good at maths. I'm not good at numbers or anything.
No, it's hard. It's not the one. But listen, back when we were at school, because it's all T levels now, it's all changed to numbers. The GCSEs. Like level 4, 5, 6.
Has it?
7, 8, 7. Yeah, it's not. Oh, yeah, it's not GCSE. So it is GCSEs now, but it's not A to C, and A's. They're the passes, and sort of D, E, and stuff like that are not good. They're it's T levels now, and it's numbers, mate. So educational fleck. Yeah, worked in education.
There you go.
It's changed. Yeah. But anyway, back to my scatter graph.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's very scattered from Ineos, is what I'm saying with what they're doing. If they were plotting this on a graph, there would be no correlation, because 1 minute you're putting it at the top end of the chart, going, oh, they're going to get this manager, this, that. Then you're putting one down the bottom on the y-axis, about this manager and that manager, and then there's just no correlation. But then I'm thinking from there, that's what I was going to say. I think.
Well, is there a correlation? Is the correlation that maybe they don't want Eric if they're talking to all of these people? Is that the one thing you can take away from it?
Well, you can take that away from it, that it seems like they're trying to sound out somebody else. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is they're actually the fact that we don't know and people don't know, and someone like David Ornstein, because when David Ornstein said that, I just started thinking, I'm like, that's David Ornstein says, I haven't got a clue at this point, I've given up. And I just thought, let me just put myself in Ineos's shoes for like a couple of minutes, so I can try and maybe understand their thinking. Because when you can't understand something or someone, sometimes you think, am I missing? Let me think from their perspective to try and get a better understanding. And I'm like, I think they'll be happy with that. I think they think, right? And let me know what you think. I think they are like, well, yeah, we don't want everyone to know exactly what our plan is, what we're doing. At Man United, a lot of stuff has always got out, which, it kind of did in a weird way before the FA Cup final. And we don't want everybody to know actually who the manager's going to be or whatever. So, like, from our point of view, you don't know everything. And if someone like David Ornstein's going, I actually have no sort, I don't know. And all the media like don't actually know, then they could see it as we're trying to change this narrative, like every single thing you know what's going to happen. And we're actually kicking out the people from the old regime, which they've done, the Murto, Richard Arnold, etc., etc. So we're on this thing where no one knew Omar Barada was that just came, this, that, and the other. So I don't agree with it because I think we look at this. This is a shambles. We don't know who I'm at. But I just think for them, I think they're being. I think they're like, yeah. Do you know what? It's changed. You don't know.
I don't know. I think if that's their thought process, I think that might be a bit of copium. You know what I mean? That's sort of, nobody knows. And that's by design. We're keeping things very close. See, we're stopping the leaks. But then I think if you get past that, if you push past that wall and you go, all right, then, so what's this grand plan you are keeping close then that nobody knows? And I think it might be like a Wizard of Oz scenario. You know what I mean? Yeah. When we look behind the curtain, you go, there's nothing here. There's nothing going on, because I do believe they had a timeline of things set out that they wanted to do. And I think that included Man United not winning the FA Cup final, because I don't think they're wrong with that. No, not many people did. And then that happened and they went, oh, we got to maybe reassess some things, look at some things. And maybe they had certain other people in mind, and where there was Kieran McKenna, and he goes, oh, I'm going to sign new contracts. They're Ipswich. That's off the table. And then it just comes across at the moment like they don't, like David Ornstein says, maybe they don't know what they want anymore. And when they're not, and now that they're not sure what they want, then almost they're doubling down on the review part of it. Well, let's keep reviewing until we do find out what we want. But the problem is, eventually you've got to come to a decision. I mean, one of the weirdest stories I saw, I don't know if you saw this, I think it was from the Mirror. I think it's from John Cross from the Mirror, saying that Gareth Southgate now was one of those people that it looks even more unlikely. And the main reason, like we said yesterday, that it's unlikely is because the timelines didn't match up. And I thought to myself, I went, but surely you would have known that like a year ago or 6 months ago. Time was never going to match
and the Euros will be there, and Gareth Southgate's going to be busy.
To be the Euros. It's not as if the Euros have snuck up on anyone. Like, I didn't know these this summer. Was it this summer? Oh, we got our years wrong because it was in 2021 last time. That, like, everyone knew that was going to be the case. So with that, it's like, and again, if that's the only reason that they're not on the Gareth Southgate train is, just timing didn't work out. Oh my God, if that's the only reason.
Yeah. Well, and that's why you're like, because obviously we have to be careful with the media, right? As well. I was thinking about this because, like, also we know they chat shit, don't we? We
look at the Thomas Tuchel situation. Look at it.
Do you see what I mean?
Hawks, he's not going.
And then like all these things, De Zerbi's fancied. Potter was this, that, and the other. Oh, Thomas Frank is in the candidate. Thomas Frank was probably never even anywhere near it. Like, but they're just writing stuff. And when you look at some of the updates of what's actually happening, a lot of them are saying a whole load of nothing. Like,
how do you think those things go? Like, do you think so when they're on the phone to their sources?
How to get away with it? Yeah.
When they're on the phone to their sources, do you think they just name a manager and the source just goes possibly? Because even maybe the source isn't there. They go, what about Tuchel? On the list. Pochettino, on the list. Yeah. Southgate, he's liked by them. All right, cool. Thomas Frank, sure.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't say no.
De Zerbi, I'll write it down, mate. All right, cool. And then, because someone pointed out, I think it was like a month or so ago, there was this like 4-man shortlist, which I think was Tuchel. I think Poch might have been on there. I think Southgate was on there. I think like Thomas Frank was on there as well. And many people point out, well, 3 of them ain't happening now. And the other one, Thomas Frank, is not happening. So, but we were talking about this on the full view, and it's kind of expanded on what we were talking about yesterday on the show when we were saying that. So are we going to end up, once again, with Eric, not because necessarily Ineos think he's the right guy, but just by proxy? Well, we had a look around and there wasn't really anything there, so we stuck with you. Like, what kind of backing is that to a manager? How confident is he going to feel going into this season.
That's what I
with
mean.
it.
And let's be real. That's what I'm saying. Like we can't rule out the fact that he can just go sod this. Like you lot are taking the. I don't want to swear this early. You're taking the piss out of me.
Yeah. But there's 9 million reasons why he probably wouldn't walk or resign, isn't there? You know, there's a large payout there.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's true. And look, like I say, I do think that he wants to. I still think he's committed to, like, even if they second guessed him, Eric does seem like the character to say, you didn't believe in me. I'm still here and I will do this. And like you said, a small matter of what's reported 9 million or something like that. Or actually no, that was what he got for getting to Europe. Whatever the payout is, like you
They're
said,
saying it's close. Yeah, close to his
they're saying it's close,
salary.
right?
Yeah,
exactly. So you can't act like it's more likely that he will walk. But just from a human level, you can't deny like what that would make you feel like. It doesn't matter whether it's managing in football. It doesn't matter whether it's what we do here. It doesn't matter if you work in the local corner shop or you work in finance. It doesn't matter. If somebody's having conversations whilst you're still in post about your job, there's a certain a point of it where you know football's quite cutthroat and that's the industry, and you know you're never truly say it's football. That's fine, but with how this has transpired and how he's been kept on a thread and will I, won't I, and what's going on? I've gone on holiday. I'm hearing all this stuff. That will feel shit. It doesn't matter who you are. And I just got to a point where, like I said, when Ornstein said that, it kind of gave me a little bit of a light bulb moment. And big up to everyone. Everyone else has been at these points at different places. I just went, that's David Ornstein.
yeah.
This is David Ornstein is the breaker of news. He is the one who gets everything before it happens, along with Romano, etc., etc. And when he just sort of had this sort of resounded, sort like blank, I give
I
up.
don't know.
I don't know. Like, and it almost was like, I don't care. Like, I've tried to even like, and maybe I'm over analyzing how he was, but it's just how I saw it because of my own feelings. I'm like, even he just looked like he was just tired of it, bored. And
Yeah.
more, it's like, actually, effing just tell us when, you know, I just, what's the point in doing this every day? And all the different articles saying, you know, Thomas Tuchel wanted to bring Sancho back.
Oh, it's largely redundant, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's sure. I mean, that shows me that they're just trying to keep the thing going for their engagement, because they don't know. Yeah. Nobody's writing. Ten Hag will be the manager. Ten Hag will 100. Well, they did say Ten Hag will 100% get sacked before, but obviously it didn't happen. But now in this period, nobody is going strong. They're saying, a decision expected soon.
Yeah.
The decision expected next week. Also, we might hit. Nobody knows.
I mean, we said, didn't we? Like, you know, the beginning of the week, I saw Sky went with it. I just, you know, a conclusion is expected this week. And my prediction last Friday on the Trinity was that we were going to get to the next episode and we still wouldn't know. It's Tuesday now. It doesn't feel like it's very close today, does it? You know what I mean? Doesn't feel like we're getting any closer. Next thing you know, Tuesday becomes Wednesday. Wednesday becomes Thursday. Then you start getting into the territory we were at last week. When you're in the final 2 weekdays, Thursday, Friday, that's when you start going, oh, it's got to be today or tomorrow again. And then nothing really happens again. And like, I don't know. But I said my biggest concern, like I said, because I reacted to the Ornstein thing maybe a little bit differently from you. That bit when he said maybe Man United don't even know, that was the thing that really stood out to me. That I thought, I think he's quite on the money then. I don't think it's not necessarily a case that the journalists don't know. Obviously, they don't. But the bigger concern, I don't care if the journalists don't know. Who gives a shit if the journalists know or not? My bigger concern is that the people making the decisions even know. Because as we've spoken about time and time again, you know, we're entering into the 3rd week after the FA Cup final. And if you're telling me 3 weeks later, you're like, we're still kind of not really sure. We're still reviewing it. We're still looking at this data. Like, what else? Like, what new data are you going to get 3 weeks after the fact about this season that's taken place over 9 months, about a manager that's been here for 2 years, about players that have been like, what is going to pop up? Because we didn't think of that. we haven't even thought about that. Like, everything's here at this point. And there was an interesting piece that was written by Rob Dawson last night that was talking about players at United that have reportedly gone to Ineos and said, hey, like, what's going on? Because my future's kind of on the line here at the moment. I'm kind of considering it, my options. External parties and agents going to Man United going, hey, like, what's going on with the future with your manager next season? Because my client would be interested in going to Man United, but whoever the coach is going to be is quite a big factor to consider here. And reportedly, Ineos have sort of reassured everyone, oh, no, don't worry. It's not going to happen, the transfer plans and what have you, but it will. Of course it will.
Of course it will.
Of course it's factually considered. And then on top of that, they say, and it's not going to be totally up to speed because, of course, everyone's not here yet. Omar Barada does start in July and Dan Ashworth's not even here yet. So that, completely well-oiled machine is still being built at this point. So it's going to be a year that's somewhat transitional anyway. And then you can't even really start it because the first decision made, they haven't made yet. And they're not sure. And they're not sure what decision is to make. And it's just like, as we say, you can deliberate, you can think, but eventually you do have to just sort of go, look, this is the decision. We can't wait forever, can we? And I do understand with Ineos because they're like, well, first big decision, we want to make sure we get it right. We don't want to make sure we get off on the wrong foot and what have you. But Sir Jim said it himself when it comes to aspirations in the future, when he said, it can't be like a 10-year plan because the fans won't be patient for it. And he said it's got to be like 3 or 4 years, didn't he? That we've got to be competing for the Premier League because the fans aren't patient. Well, this is evidence of the fans' patience levels, isn't it? When they go, right, okay, like we're not expecting Premier League next season or anything like that, but we're saying like you can't take forever on these things.
Exactly. So. V33 says, Ineos, you are slow and disrespectful. Who is our manager? And Aminor says, Owen, I would respect Ineos if they had the balls to make a decision. Why is Sir Jim meeting Tuchel? You delegate this to football people. I am worried. He thinks it's the wrong people. I mean, I don't think it would have been all just Sir Jim. Just I'm going to meet you and make the decision. I think that we just hear the snapshot from the media of there was a meeting. Sir Jim Ratcliffe was there, but it would have been with other people.
Well, then this is the problem, isn't it? As well, like the football people. Two of which aren't technically in the job at the moment, so exactly. it leaves Sir Jim to make that call.
It would be that, and also it would be that trio, wouldn't it, of Jean-Claude Blanc to Dave Brailsford, like they would obviously spearhead. Which again, we know that Jean-Claude Blanc and especially Sir Dave Brailsford in terms of the footballing, stuff, that's not his remit. But yeah, Black Sheep says that Qatar would have had Glazers gone and debt cleared. Jim's no United fan. He made an offer that kept them. A true United fan would walk if can't compete with Qatar. Look, to be honest, after the Qatar thing and all of that, I don't. Do you know Black Sheep? I don't even know if I can go back there. I'll be honest. I just, that was what was on the table, and that's why many of us at the time wanted that. But
also the key thing to remember with the Qatar thing, like you said, a lot of people wanted that because it was the full offer on the table, blah, blah, blah. And that's absolutely true. Can't change history. But at the same time, we then found out that maybe some of the details weren't maybe as accurate as we're led to believe for all that too. Still to this day, we don't know. I mean, you've got one side saying one thing. You've got Qatar saying, we're going to push back and get lawyers involved. And then nothing's really happened since then with it. Like, and to your point, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah. And then when you see, like, just quickly, what's happening with sort of Newcastle and the Saudi owners, and then obviously what City have done with 115 charges, you do. Yeah. I was looking at that when it's all going off because Newcastle were the ones when City were going through the thing the other day. They're supporting, it's interesting. Make no mistake, if we had Qatar, it would be us too.
Well, yeah, the affiliated parties.
And we're Man United. We're the worst. So we're the biggest, So they would see us as, we have to take them down even more. I'm not saying we would break rules and have 115 charges, but now looking at it with how this thing has gone, everybody would be against us on top of the fact that we're Man United.
Like, I mean, that whole, was it affiliated parties or companies thing? We'd be smack bang in the middle of that conversation 100% right now.
And we wouldn't be able to say we wasn't.
No.
It's like, like the whole thing of like, when we say to the new, Saudi, no, you are. Sellers, shirt sponsors, all of that. Well, yeah, Etihad and all that. Like, mate, don't come on. Like,
Well, the same
I mean, we'd be
conversation.
there or somewhere else like that.
And when it comes to like associated clubs, the same conversations we'd be having, the whole thing of like, oh, Nice or whatever. They'd be like, are there links to PSG? Are there not links to PSG? Are these a separate private Qatari businessman or isn't he? Like, it'd be the
Yeah,
same stuff, wouldn't it? We'd be
yeah,
having those
exactly.
talks right now.
Splashnet says something good there. I personally just wanted a full sale. Could have been Qatar or Apple, no matter who. And that's
Yeah,
exactly it. We just
exactly.
that's the real thing as fans, away from like the political side and the financial intricacies. Us as fans, we think with our head and our hearts basically for the football club, and we just wanted the side that would get rid of everything. But anyway, let's not pretend Ineos are idiots, says Corey Tibble. It took nearly 2 years for City to get everything in place for Pep. Give it time. Yeah, I mean, there are a few fans, quite a few fans actually saying this. Something like saying, "Well, hang on a minute. We said we're going to be patient with these lot. We said it's going to take ages to fix. Let's stop moaning. The people who actually have made the decisions under the Glazers are gone, and it's a working process. Yes, it's a bit frustrating, but just chill. Let it. This is going to take ages. This is really difficult."
I don't disagree with those things. I got some heat for it the other day when talking about, this is why I push back when people just go, just another Glazer. I go, well, I think that's
Yeah,
very,
it's not true.
you're generalizing or whatever. I do genuinely think like getting the people in like Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox and Dan Ashworth, that is an improvement on what we had before because we had nothing. Like, let's not
Yeah,
pretend we were all cussing out John Murtough for his transfer windows because they're rubbish. They were. Richard Arnold being caught at the pub, filmed, we're burning through cash, all that kind of stuff. Like, and the way that Manchester United has been run on a football level for the past decade has been rubbish. So I do think they are good. So I agree with that. And as the phrase says, like Rome wasn't built in a day, and it is going to take some time. I don't disagree with that. I suppose just as a starting point with the sort of drama surrounding the manager, it's just not the most ideal start, is it? And again, is that because
not.
all of those people that they would want to delegate to aren't in at the moment? Is that what it
So
is?
it takes a bit
And
longer, which
but
again, you could
which
understand that.
I can understand that, and then maybe I think some people's point would be to that. Then just leave him there. Just leave him in. Wait for those people to come in, and then make the decision. Like, why drag it out? Why talk to these other people? If you're sort of saying, well, we can't really build in earnest until these people above us are completely in their job. And if that's going to take an extra 6 months, then you go, well, stick with Eric for 6 months then. Just focus on what you can do at the moment, as opposed to, making changes that maybe, well, unless, again, this is backseat driving from the people that aren't officially in the job at the moment. And they're just kind of like, yeah, we'd actually, if we were officially there, we'd be getting rid of him right now. We'd be looking at these other people. Maybe that's what it is.
A little bit of breaking news about transfers, which involves us, but doesn't involve us. Breaking news. I mean, look, we were nowhere near it, but exclusive from Fabrizio Romano 12 minutes ago. He says that Benjamin Sesko has decided to stay at RB Leipzig and sign a new contract on improved terms. We've seen that happen before. Decision made for talented striker, similar to what Haaland decided back in the days at Dortmund. Sesko will stay at Leipzig with a new gentleman agreement for future exit. So they've been smart. He's been smart. I did listen to the Hatchman, Kevin Hatchard, good friend of my show that we do on Sky Sports and other things, and I get him on Talk Sport. Does great stuff on the Bundesliga, commentates, European football expert. And a lot of people, other European guys, I was seeing sort of along the notion that Sesko needs another year. He's not quite there yet. He needs to stay and kind of, to keep developing. And yeah, it's similar. He's done to basically what Haaland did. Remember when everybody wanted him when he was at Dortmund, and he stayed a little bit longer. So yeah, Benjamin Sesko stays. So Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, all them other teams where we're like, oh, he's going to go there. He's going to, oh no. And like Show says there, the Sesko hype is too much. Listen, he's good. I like the look of him for sure. But like I said, he's like a Højlund, I suppose. Like, young, up and coming. There you go. So yes, we'll
and that one's nipped in the bud quite early, isn't it? Really,
in the bud quite early. I like that.
You're not going to drag out. You're not going to have a whole summer of things. Just like, look, okay, it's going to stick around. It's interesting.
Sign a new deal.
I suppose
gentleman's agreement, so he'll have a nice release clause in there.
Yeah, he'll still probably in like maybe a year or so's time, something like that. Yeah, maybe.
Right, let me just finish the super chats before we carry on. Let's not pretend. I've read that one from Corey. Lil Yoda says, "Be ready for the Gareth Southgate Defence League, the GSDL. Be ready for it." Akash says, "Guess now we know a full takeover was the only way." And Kenny Fan TV says, big up Fles. Don't get stressed up. Remember what I said. No news is good news. See, Kenny's like, calm, no problem. Samuel says, we will know if Erik Ten Hag gets on the plane for the US tour. Well, yeah.
I mean, if he sacked him midair,
way before that yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Michael says, Southgate incoming, Ashworth links Sir Jim. Southgate incoming, Ashworth links Sir Jim wants a British core. You can see it happening. It won't be a foreign manager from Fan looking out. Basically, he wants this sort of British cohort, this British contingency. Okay, well, we shall see. We shall see. SLD says, LOL, Owen really hates Southgates.
I don't hate anyone. That is one thing.
That's a strong word. You don't hate.
Yeah, I don't hate anyone. I just don't think Gareth Southgate's good enough to be the England manager, let alone the Manchester United manager. And I do think it's quite funny, actually. One of the reasons, reportedly, that Southgate is looking that this will probably be his last tournament for England is that he doesn't want to deal with the sort of politics and media scrutiny that comes with being the England manager. And you have seen this with a lot of England press conferences. They'll ask the England manager about issues that have nothing to do with football a lot of the time. Like, what do you think about this? And they'll be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about that. The problem is that if you want to get away from media scrutiny and media pressure and the knives are out, do not become the Man United manager then, because
that's the wrong job for you.
No, exactly. Like in Sir Alex's later years, the biggest battle with him was just, I'll deal with the media. I'll have my coaching staff work on coaching and all that kind of stuff. Like the media itself, you have to deal with. So yeah, I don't know. But what I will say is, look, I saw the England squad fly out to Germany yesterday. It was quite exciting. You get the buzz for the international tournament.
Owen, that's that. Come on, Owen. Exactly. Come on.
Oh, of course, I still want England to win. I don't think they will, but I still think I have, you got to have some kind of hope and some kind of pride and excitement, right? So Cobby stepping off the plane, which is I'm happy for him. Be interesting to see how much
all in the night tech fleeces.
Interesting to see how much football he plays, actually, won't it? I think. Yeah. Do you think he's going to get that many minutes, or do you think we're going to get to the end of the tournament and it's a bit like he didn't really play all that much?
It's a good question. I feel like I've been seeing in the media again. England media is a bit different. Sometimes they do have a few ins. They're sort of going with this. They feel Trent might get in at centre
in midfield.
Which I've said it yesterday on TalkSport of Ade. Like, if Trent plays there in them group games, like he can do it. Like against Slovenia, Serbia, and bloody Denmark. Like, I'm not saying it's easy because England don't play the best football and always scrape by or whatever, but we're not going to be absolutely awful because Trent's in central midfield against them teams. If we have to put him there against the big boys when there's big man in there, I'm not so sure about the balance. Yeah,
I agree. I'm feel
not
like
so sure. But against Slovenia, of course he can.
Mm.
Time and space on the ball, whipping balls around. But when the stakes are higher and the game's quicker and you're playing against elite players, you can't just stick him in there when he's not.
Yeah, instead of a centre mid,
because he's got a good pass, because he's so good on the ball. But England ain't going to have the ball like that against France or Germany, or you know what I mean. So there's 6-1, half a dozen the other. Because some people say, yeah, but if you're under the cosh against these teams, you need someone who can unlock things and see things and feed the ball to Foden and feed the ball to Bella. Then that's why you have him in there. Don't think negative. This is our problem. We have to think. Let them worry about our threats, but. We still have to respect our opposition and respect our own history of that shit.
You can also overcomplicate things, can't you? By looking at, like I said, if I was like Cobby, like you said, I'd be looking at that. If it came down to it was like, oh yeah, it's Trent in midfield with Rice and Bellingham, say, I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm a midfielder. This guy's right back. You know what I mean? And if it's a big game and you go, why is he in there? They go, well, he's got a good touch and he can pass it around a bit. You're like, so have I. So I don't know. Like I said, in the group stage, it might just be that's what he does. But I don't know. But I am very much looking forward to, I think, like everyone, once you get to that point, I tell you what, the best part of international tournaments are, Flex. Group stage when there's like 3 or 4 games.
3 games. Oh, someone said to me the other day, it's
terrific.
Is it 11-2-5 or 11-2-8? Someone said to me.
I can't remember.
I forgot about that.
I can't remember. Yeah, but I when it was in Qatar and there was like 4 games a day. Oh, it was brilliant.
Mental.
Like it was brilliant. It was fantastic.
And I've just remembered because like I'm not there because I was there at that, like doing the It was 4 games a day, and I think the maximum you could do was, well, you could do 4 if you was really on it, but we were doing like 3 games a day. It was just mental, knackered, but it was really good. But I just forgot, like, because I'm here, that bit where on the TV, 2, 5, and 8. Lil Yo says, I think, okay, fair enough. Brilliant. Like it's brilliant. You forget, like, you just got so much football to watch.
Yeah,
just watch it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's good. Group stages are really, really good.
Yeah,
and it starts getting rubbish, like in the third group stage games where either teams are 100% through, or like some are 100% out.
Well,
but then you get somewhere it's like it comes down to this.
The World Cup,
like 2 draws or something, a draw and a loss, but like a win can take them through because of
the World Cup. Those final round matches were fantastic. They were brilliant. And like you said, if they get it, if it falls the way that you hope, those last matches are just the drama. It's like like last day Premier League when there's like a relegation battle and someone scores, they've gone out and they come back in. But it's like that across every group. And then also as well, you get like the third place teams, they can still possibly get through as well. So they're still fighting for it. So that's my favorite part of an international tournament. In fact, once the group stages do end, and you've got like 2-day period where there's no football, you go,
what's the game's gone? Round of 16, I've got to wait 3 days for each game.
What am I gonna do? I gotta do normal stuff again. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be awful. But switching back to Man United, do you think, I mean, with this show, the transfer view, do you think there's any transfer movements during that, or do you think for a month we're just not going to hear all that much?
Well, I mean, it's easy to say no now because obviously we don't know who the manager is, but as we know in football, things can move quite quickly. I think we'd be naive to just write off the whole of June to say like 100% nothing will happen, because we are in. I wouldn't say it definitely will, by the way. But like we are in a situation again. We don't know how Ineos move. This is why even in this bit where they're choosing the manager, and we're learning about it all now. This is what they do. This is how they conduct their business. So look, there will be some clarity at some point of what's going to happen with the manager. Of course there is. We just don't know when. Don't know when. And how it's going to get communicated. But there will be, right? So I think we'll talk to players. I think we'll get linked to, as soon as the manager thing gets sorted, the media are then going to have a field day, and the agents, and then it's going to be, we're linked with this, we're linked with that, talks with this, no concrete talks, but interest shown, all of this stuff. It just goes from there. And actually, there are little murmurs as well. Mark Critchley from the Athletics had said, earlier about the Jared Branthwaite thing. He said that any potential deal for Jared Branthwaite to join Man United is not expected to be imminent. Well, shock. Monaco's Yusuf Fofana has come under consideration, but it is unclear how serious or I'm just highlighting all the things, how serious or advanced the interest is. While Benjamin Sesko is a target up front, 26 minutes ago. And then Romano's already taken Sesko away from that. So it's again, United have got interest. It's not imminent. And it's unclear. So
maybe the Branthwaite one, though. I think maybe the Branthwaite one, that one could happen. I know
now we have to go to the Euros.
But he's not gone to the Euros. I know Everton, there's a lot up in the air with their future at the moment with people that are interested in buying them. It does look like they are going to get actually purchased. And I think they might have dodged a bit of a bullet when it comes to that 777 stuff. But they're in that category, don't they, where they need to sell before the end of the month. And I think United would probably be aware of that. So you've kind of seen like 2 lines of reporting, haven't you? Really, you've seen one line of reporting, which is that one, which is like, no, Everton, no, they're happy to wait. They'll wait. It's not going to happen imminently. And you've got the other one, which it's like, no, they do need to sell. United are aware they need to sell. That one could happen by the end of the month. But as we kind of spoke about earlier on, it feels weird almost to talk about players before the manager's even sorted. But I don't know. My other question to you was going to be, because this is always the case of international tournaments too. Do you think there's going to be this player, shall we say, at the tournament that plays well, not out of nowhere, but plays well, and suddenly like the clubs start going, well, actually,
English?
No, not English
or,
player. Just a player.
Of course.
We signed at the World Cup when 2014. We signed Marcos Rojo. I don't know if we were interested in signing him before the tournament. We went, look at this defender, and then we ended up signing him. Do you think there could be something like that?
That we actually sign, or somebody does?
Well, we just start getting linked to, shall we say, because they've had a good tournament.
Yeah, I always always happens at least once or twice. It happens in almost every tournament. It does. James Rodriguez. I remember Royston Drenthe did amazing for Holland. That might have even been in the under-21 tournament. And he went
I
Real
remember
Madrid.
that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And he
that
ended
was a
up at
long time ago.
Everton.
Yeah.
Royston Drenthe. The football quiz.
Or there might be
people.
like a striker that does well. Like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, or we're
Yeah.
looking for a left back. There's a left back that
Yeah.
plays well. And we go, oh, actually, maybe.
Mate, in the last one, Gonzalo Ramos was the main man. Was like,
Yes,
yeah, put him in instead
He's
of
got a
Ronaldo.
hat-trick.
Look, he's got a hat trick. Oh, this like sit down, Ronaldo. It's all about the new kid. Look at who was the manager then? Who was their Scolari? No, Scolari. Who was their manager last thing?
The Portugal manager. It was the one that
What's his
the
name?
guy that won the Euros. I forget his name.
Yeah. Anyway, him. We're like, oh, look, see, even he knows Ronaldo's finished, mate. And it was like, see, Ronaldo, you've gone and done the Piers Morgan thing. You know, you can't get into the national team in the Euro. You're finished. That's what it was. Gonzalo Ramos, amazing. Gets to PSG. Nothing.
Well, I remember last Euros was Patrick Schick scored a load of goals for Czech Republic. Scored one against Scotland. Was it from the halfway line or something like that? Ridiculous. It was incredible. And now he's actually doing all right. By Leverkusen.
Exactly. He's doing all right because they're good. What's his face in the last World Cup? Gavardio got to move to City.
Yeah. I remember
watching that infamous got twisted up by Messi when he's in a face mask. But
he was good. But that tournament, he was good. Yeah,
he was good. So it happens all the time. And
hey, Sofian Amrabat, look,
I was there. I did it. I looked at him in the stadium. I was at every Moroccan game right through to the semi-final, and I went, "Who's the bald geezer in midfield running around doing a madness?"
Yeah,
that's what I did. I did it. I did it. I did it. I was there, and I was like, "He's everywhere. He's winning the ball off it." And then in that, mate, I tell you what, when he done that tackle against Mbappe in that stadium, I went, he's serious, he's sick. I was like, oh my god, he's sick. When we signed him, I put up the picture of him with Mbappe on the floor. You know, there's like an aerial shot of Mbappe on the floor, sort of holding his ankle because Amrabat just dominated him. I'm like, our midfielder now. Halfway into it, I'm like, about that Amrabat thing then. And then he plays like 4 games in a row, and then I'm like, oh, about that Amrabat thing.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we shouldn't. I don't want to see us buy anyone off the back of just because I've learned my lesson.
Historically, it is true. Historically,
unless they were good before, unless they were they've always been good and they had a good Euros. Not, who's that guy? Oh my god, he scored 8 goals in this tournament. He must be sick. Get him.
Yeah.
No,
and because usually, and again, it's like no disrespect, but someone that's had a great tournament, you go, where do they play? And then you use Amrabat as an example. You go, they play for Fiorentina, or they play for Wolfsburg, or something like that. You go, maybe
they're just having a purple patch. Maybe it's just time of their life.
But you get desperate, don't you? Because you start going, look, we need something, we need someone. So there will be that. Oh my goodness me, absolutely. And then Copa America's on a week or so later. That will happen too. Or even people like with the Olympics. I'm telling you now, Fleck, if there's in the Olympics, if there's like some young under 23 player for one of those countries that participate that scores a shitload of goals in that tournament, people will be looking at him going, I tell you now. I mean, like Elise, he's going with France. If he's not signed by someone at that point and he does a madness in that tournament, people are like, oh, actually, look at him. He's ready for the step. He's ready for the step up. Look at him. Okay. Forget what he's done for Palace this season. It's almost like just because it's an international tournament, it hits differently, isn't it?
It does when they do it, because you're like, they're doing it on the biggest stage.
On the big stage, people are watching. You know what I mean? It's for their country. And then you sort of go, well, actually, it's kind of just the same, really. If they're good, they're good. If they're bad, they're bad. But that will happen. Absolutely, that will happen. And it's just an interesting to see who it will happen with. Hopefully, look, hopefully it's already a United player. Minna said it last night on the Full View. Denmark are in our group, England, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I hope Rasmus Højlund has an unbelievable tournament. Imagine he scores a load of goals. He'd be like, wow.
Oh, shit, we have to play against Benjamin Sesko. I forgot about that. He's Slovenian, isn't it?
Let's have a look at our group again. England,
Slovenia, Serbia, and Denmark.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't paid a ton of attention to our group.
It is that. It's definitely
I've got a wall chart though, Flex. You can.
Have you the old school work out the roots?
Of course.
So on the wall chart, then who can we? Who's on the other side? How does it?
I paid a lot of attention to it. It's just on the wall.
Oh, you've actually got it on the wall.
It's on the wall.
That's proper, mate. I remember as a kid, right? I always used to have them fill it out as it goes on. Oh,
Every
yeah,
tournament do it because,
yeah.
and again, it's
It's
because
good to visually see what.
and I've never not done
how
it. Like I said, it keeps me like
Yeah.
that's old school, still in the
That is
childhood.
proper
You
old
know,
school. Oh, I
God
remember the
will
wall shot. I had a
write the
France.
scoring. You got
Yeah,
to. You
France
you have
98 one.
to.
The one in what was the one in Korea? 2002.
2002, yeah.
Yeah, I had that Japan and Korea. I had the one for that.
Yeah.
I had the South Africa one. When was that?
2010.
2010. The Vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzelas. Oh god, I hate them.
Vuvuzelas. That's it. Yeah,
They're the
just
worst.
all the way through the game. So miserable. They were brilliant. Part of the culture.
But never change. If a goal went in,
No, Did they start banning them? Because remember they started to bring them back into the Premier League. Just start bringing them to games.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and the
man.
best thing
That
with
is
that World Cup
old
was the
school.
ball,
Ball shot. Oh,
the
mate.
Jabulani ball. Oh, it's the
Yeah, the
worst
one that
football
is
ever created. Let's do a World Cup with like a floaty ball. Let's kick it, one.
Yeah. Mate,
But
I
yeah, I've got the
fucking
wall.
loved that.
I've got the wall
Wall
chart.
chart.
Wall charts up. I think you got to get one. Got to get one. It keeps you in touch with your
Keeps you
youth.
tapped in, top 10,
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, you can look at the ways you can go. But yeah, looking at our group,
got to play against Benjamin Sesko, mate. He might score a few. And we go, wow.
Rasmus Højlund, Christian Eriksen. Who plays for Serbia?
Serbia, Milinkovic Savic.
Let's have a look. They won their last friendly, 3-0 against Sweden.
Got some
Got
Tadic.
Savic. Mitrovic, of course.
Mitrovic.
Wow, they got good strikers,
Got some more
Mitrovic and Vlahovic.
Yeah. Mate, I tell you what, actually, fucking that opening game. I've been like, mate, this group, England can play whatever format, whoever players they should.
Yeah, you said Trent midfield would be no problem.
Yeah, he won't. But like when you go, is it Milinkovic Savic? He's in it. He must have been in it. Who else is in midfield? Anyone else we recognise?
Maybe I got to go back. I was then looking at other
you've heard
teams.
of.
I got distracted. Well, this was their last game against Sweden, so it's not their exact team. No, not
on the bench.
On the bench,
you might go. Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Oh, they got obviously Dusan Tadic.
Yeah.
They've got how do you pronounce it? Jovic, Luka Jovic. He's a striker.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Plays for AC Milan. They got to tell you what, they got a few strikers, haven't they? Jeez.
Yeah, mate. There you go. Is Matic still there? He's retired, isn't he?
I think he's retired.
Yeah,
but still,
he's retired from all football. Is Matic retired? No, he went somewhere else, didn't he?
He went somewhere else, and then he moved because I think there was a thing about like his kids getting into the school or something like that. It was very
okay.
He plays
Lil
for
Yoda says they got. Oh, does he, Matic? Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Lil Yoda says Petrovic in goal from Chelsea as well. He's good. He's all right. Yeah. So look, everyone's and you can't legislate for like teams that they start playing their first game and you go, oh, they're all right. They've got some good players then. You know what I mean? Joe Fleming says, I've been saying Trent in midfield for days. And he also says, Declan Rice on set pieces at the moment. No. So, yeah. Very interesting.
Well, it's better than, what was it, Harry Kane? Remember that Euros with Harry Kane on corners?
Oh, stupid rubbish. Honestly, what are we doing?
Right, and the thing is, Gary Neville, like, he's part of that coaching setup with Harry Kane on corners. That's nearly as bad as Louis Van Gaal putting Phil Jones on corners.
Phil Jones, yeah, exactly. I remember that. We have got a Flexing KG show. What we got coming? We've got a Flexing KG show coming up for you guys today. Earlier than usual as well.
Yes.
Earlier than usual. So look out for that. Of course, any breaking news that may or may not come out, we will bring it to you. But, you shall have to wait and see. We've got 530 likes, just under 1,500 people watching live. So you did well, guys. You did well. Thanks for tuning in. Brilliant show. And here's to some news, some concrete actual news today, which isn't going to come. So, yeah, we'll let you know. Tune in for the Flexing KG show later on. Smash a like on the video, guys. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.